Good morning and welcome to Dollywood. It's not actually morning, it's well into the afternoon. It was raining for quite a while, so here I am now. Super excited to be here though. This is not my first time, this is actually my third time to Dollywood. The first two would be like 2014 and 2017. So quite a while ago and a lot has changed. But I was able to, in the past, ride Lightning Rod as it was built, a launched wooden coaster. And now, a lot of that ride being steel track, and now it has a chain lift. That's something very different. Also, Wildwood Grove wasn't here last time, and although I'm excited to just see that land as a whole, Big Bear Mountain, that's the newest coaster here, family multi-launch coaster. So I'm pretty jazzed to try that out as well. But super excited, so let's get into it. Thunderhead, they retracked this whole ride. It is running so well. It is running fast and it is running smooth. I definitely prefer this now to Mystic Timbers, which was my prior favorite GCI. I think I just like that this has a lot more elevation change. I like that Mystic Timbers stays really close to the ground and for the speed, but this is more my style of ride. The dive through the station, that's crazy. That catches you off guard. Really impressed. Really dynamic ride. Not a whole lot of airtime going on, but what it lacks in airtime, it makes up for a very twisty, dynamic ride. And there still are a few airtime pops. It's running great. It's running like it was built this year. I'm really curious kind of to see how I will compare Lightning Rod and Thunderhead this time around, because my first time here, this wasn't even close to Lightning Rod, but with this running way better and Lightning Rod being sort of a neutered version of itself, we'll see. My concern with Big Bear was that this would wind up being something very adjacent to Fire Chaser Express. Like, how many parks have family launched coasters and yet now they have two? Really solid ride. Two things stood out to me. One, in the back seat where I sat, my onboard audio wasn't working. So I'm gonna go again because I feel like I didn't get the full experience, but hopefully they're pretty quick to remedy those issues. Next, very long for what it is, very long ride. It's not Hagrid's because it doesn't have, hey Siri, how many launches does Hagrid? It doesn't have 7 launches, but very fulfilling ride experience. If you waited a long time for this, you'd feel like you got the most out of that wait on this ride. Really smooth. Those Vekoma restraints on these family coasters are actually really comfy. I loved it. My only critique, and I've heard other YouTubers say this in the past, this kind of finale area and where it starts, it's great. And also the section with like the waterfall and the cave, super cool too. But there's a big middle area. I get it. There's a big area where you're just going over grass and it's open and it feels like there should be woods and trees or something there. So still a fantastic ride. This thing owns this new area of Dollywood. This thing like owns it. Tennessee Tornado makes me wish Aero stuck around longer. So Aerodynamics, the company that built this Tennessee Tornado looper, for the majority of their existence, they stuck to a lot of legacy, both design and manufacturing techniques. Without trying to bore you in all the jargon, pretty much for most of the looping coasters that Aero built, they kind of had a preset size for most elements. So watch El Toro Ryan's video on Drachenfire and Loch Ness Monster if you want a better idea of what tangent radius design is, but pretty much they didn't have these flowy elements. It was like they would pick an angle and then stick to it and then pick another angle and stick to it. And even things like vertical loops, they were all the same size. So for a ride that was much bigger than another, they would just have a hill that goes up, 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 and then do that small loop and then come down. And it just wound up being weird. And it kind of gives a lot of those old Aero loopers and mega loopers that sort of like tight, squiggly sort of look. They figured it out by the time they made Tennessee Tornado. So much more drawn out, large, modern elements. The track design incorporates heart lining, so the car moves around the person instead of just tipping them to the side. Great ride. It's very short, but it's intense. Like I said, it just makes me wish we saw Aero do more modern looping sort of rides like this. Fire Chaser Express, it has the backwards thing, and that kind of very much differentiates it from Big Bear. Also, Fire Chaser is on the side of the hill, so neither coaster has like a full-on drop. Both of them are kind of where they go up and take steps down. I don't mind it, but again, most of my concerns were that they would be super similar, and they're not. There's definitely some audience overlap between the two. Fire Chaser, if anything, runs a little rougher, but that makes sense. It's not as new as Big Bear. The scenery, like this rock structures, there's like the Fire Watch Tower or whatever. And then there's a bit of a show scene at the reverse launch. Fire Chaser is definitely a bit more cohesive in its story aspects, but it's a really fun family coaster. It's kind of got everything, you know, it's got the forward launch, the lift hill, the reverse launch. Really good family coaster. I wish we saw more of these as well. I'm actually contractually obligated to ride an S&S Screaming Swing whenever I see one. Not actually, that's a joke. If these aren't your favorite flat rides, or at least one of your favorite flat rides, what are we doing? I really enjoy Wild Eagle. I think like the train setup on wing coasters lends itself well to the wing over drop, but I like that this is the only one with a chain lift that doesn't have that wing over, and it works really well here because that lift hill and drop is pretty much right on a hill. And much in the vein of like Thunderbird at Holiday World, it has a very back-to-back sort of layout, unlike a ride like Gatekeeper that takes its elements very smoothly, flowy from one to the next. There's some intensity here. A couple airtime moments that actually have airtime. It has the vest restraints. Here's a opinion I have, I don't know if this is right or wrong. A lot of people talk about airtime like it's literally the distance that you raise out of your seat, and certain restraints prevent you from experiencing that sensation. And yeah, you're not gonna lift out of the seat if you have a tight restraint. I still think the enjoyment of like an airtime hill is the negative G's, whether or not you travel this much under your restraint or pretty much not at all. It's still a sensation in and of itself. So a couple moments on here that are actually really solid. The inversions are all pretty unique. A vertical loop, that's fun on a wing. It's running smooth, it's just a good time. So definitely recommend checking out Wild. Also, really sick trains, really cool train designs. America, Bald Eagle, love that. Mystery Mine, oh my goodness. What a great ride. Yeah, it's a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, and there's some shaky bits. That's just part of the game. Price of admission. But what an incredibly well-themed ride. Nothing in the park even comes close, except for Blazing Fury, which is being refurbished at the time of my visit, so nada for me. But the last time I was here, the first outdoor section's layout was very different. So they modified it, but they actually left some of those old pieces there intact. Interesting. That guy's hat has two little solar panels that power fans blowing at us. But super good ride. You cannot miss Mystery Mine when you're here. That's a must. And just look at that building even. There's a Eurofighter in there with, spoiler, with two vertical lifts all inside that building. Super well done ride. I love that thing. Honestly, might be, I don't know, my second favorite ride here. Don't push me. I might say it's my favorite. Lightning Rod is tough. I am cursed with the fact that I have ridden it in its prime. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So don't compare this ride to maybe other rides, but it's hard not to compare Lightning Rod to older Lightning Rod, because older Lightning Rod was better. The whole high-speed lift chain, it's true. Honestly, once it gets speeding up, it almost feels more like a cable lift, like Millennium Force or something. But that still does not replace the launch. And I went on Lightning Rod when it was still really hauling over the first hills. But even when they were slowing it down, this still isn't matching that speed. So does it make the rest of the ride terrible? No, not at all. But you do notice the slowdown, especially in that first and second hill into that main drop. Still a great ride. I wouldn't put it in the upper tier of RMCs anymore. How do you even rank this? Do you rank the old one? Do you rank the... It's like when you have a really good night ride on something, do you rank the entire ride better because you had a good night ride, when in reality, if you rode anything at night, it's probably good. Still really good. And there's a lot of iBox steel track that has replaced some large sections of the wood. So quite smooth in some areas, quite bumpy in a couple still. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but RMC Woodies, I've done this, I've done Outlaw Run, I've done Goliath, they age differently than normal Woodies. I feel like normal Woodies kind of develop a consistent shake And that gets worse and worse and worse as the running rail is bent more and more on top of the wood stack that warps and moves. Not an engineer, but I think what happens here might be that the track pieces themselves are remaining pretty firm. But maybe some of the transitions between track pieces are getting a little rougher. It's more like a sequence of bumps as opposed to other Woodies which just kind of develop this shake. They feel different when they start to get more bite to them. I don't mind it, it's not painful. There was only like one moment after the first wave turn where I felt it in my back. That being said, quad down, elite. 4 airtime hills in a row going down a mountain is crazy. That is still like an airtime sequence that is gonna be hard to top. Also, the wave turn is so big and it feels like you take it really slow. Like you're sideways and up top on this thing for a considerable amount of time. But you're still pretty much weightless. It's not like you feel like you're just falling out the side. So Lightning Rod, still a really good ride. Still something you can't miss when you come to the park. And I will caveat this by saying I haven't seen it go down once. And you couldn't have said that pretty much on any single operating day of the original with the launch. So it does allow more people to get to experience a really good roller coaster. So as much as I miss the old experience, this is probably a net positive for the park and just for the visitors in general. I don't know where this is in my, where I put this among the coasters here at the park. Don't hate me, this is just personal preference and what I favor, but like Mystery Mine, Thunderhead, I think you could make cases for all of those rides being the best here or your favorite here. So a question as old as time itself, is Dollywood cinnamon bread indeed the best amusement park food ever? Yes. And just like that, that is going to do it for my day here at Dollywood. So good to be back at this park. It is really a gem. And if you've been here, you know what I mean. This is a park that is just bursting with personality. If you haven't been to Dollywood, it should be on your list. I hope the next time I'm back here isn't another 8 years, because man, what a solid park. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking it. If you want to see more roller coaster content and just amusement theme park content too, make sure to subscribe. My name's John. You've been watching Midcourse Discourse, and I'll see you next time.